We've all heard it before, right? Your customer has to know, like, and trust you before they'll buy from you. But does it still apply today? Or is it one of those things, like so many others, that is now outdated advice? Welcome back to No Grey Suits, the podcast. I'm Anastasia, your host, and yes, it's been a while, but I'm back. A saying that comes up a lot in the marketing world. It's a little phrase, a little mantra that has been used as long as I've known. And I've been in the workforce for 20 odd years. We'll just say that. And that little mantra is know, like, and trust. We've all heard it before, right? Your customer has to know, like, and trust you before they'll buy from you. But does it still apply today? Or is it one of those things, like so many others, that is now outdated advice? My take? No. I actually think that today it's more relevant than ever. Now, I did a little bit of research into this, and a recent study, just 2026, so right now, said that 84% of consumers said they would pay more from a brand that they trust. 84% of people said that they want to be able to trust the brand that they're paying more from. That means that you as a small business owner don't have to compete with the corporates on price, because 84% of people are more likely to buy from you if they trust you more. That's the bit you can work on. That's the bit you can work on without reducing your margins to absolutely nothing, because small business, you don't have the buying power of the big guys, whether you're product-based or service-based. You don't have the staff, the buying power, whatever it might be. But what you can do, the lever you can pull, is trust. And if 84% of people are more likely to pay more based on trust, the data's right there for you. And it's an easy enough lever to pull. Except that gaining people's trust now is different to how it used to be. The basic mechanics of trust are the same, but it is harder to convince a consumer, an audience, a client to trust you, your brand, your business the way we used to. We used to throw up a bunch of certifications, qualifications, experience. We've sold X number of products. We've helped X number of clients. Now, all of those things are still good to have in your marketing, on your website, wherever it might be. The problem is we don't trust it when we read it now. So how you need to build trust with your clients, with your audience, has changed. Another little bit of research that I did was that nearly half of all adults, and I'm assuming that most of your audience or most of your customers are going to be adults, nearly half of all the people that you are marketing to do not trust what they see online very often. That came from Forbes. Human-led marketing is what works these days. And before I jump into that, why don't we trust what we see online anymore? You're already yelling it straight back at me. AI, computers, computer generation, Photoshop, all of the rest of it. We don't trust what we see online because we can't trust a lot of what we see online. We're not just making this up in our heads. We're not just being paranoid. As humans, we are getting used to a whole new landscape where we can't trust a photo. Remember back in the day, you may or may not, depends how old you are. Remember back in the day when somebody would gloat about something, or they'd tell you a really outlandish story and you'd basically say, pick or it didn't happen. Photo for proof. That doesn't fly anymore. Photo for proof? Sure. I'll tell Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever to create me one, and I'll have it to you in a minute. No probs. We used to trust a photo. And when I was putting this together, I actually remembered a story. It's from a very long time ago now. So when I was doing my HSC, 2004, yes, we had the internet. I'm not that old. We had forums. We had MySpace, HTML coding, but we had forums. And one such forum was called Bored, as in I'm bored, so B-O-R-E-D, of studies. So it was a little bit of a pun, a little bit of a play on words there, in contrast to Board, B-O-A-R-D, the Board of Studies, which is the overarching organisation that looks after all of that stuff from an official capacity. So, Board, BORED, of Studies was an online forum where HSC students would, or just high school students in general, but back then it was pretty much only HSC students, would jump online and, we'd talk to each other about. It was really handy if you were doing a subject where not a lot of other kids in your school were doing that subject, or you just didn't like the ones that were, to bounce ideas off, to ask, what do we think about this assessment that's coming up, that sort of thing. How are you finding study? Any great resources you've come across, that kind of thing. But it was also a place to blow off steam. And one of the threads in that forum was a scavenger hunt. And part of the scavenger hunt was you would do things like find a HSC exam paper or, anything else, and you'd actually put the Board, BORED, I'm Board, of Studies logo on it. And keep in mind, we were doing this in Paint, Microsoft Paint. We didn't have Photoshop or anything like that. We were kids. I found the year before, I found a 2003 HSC exam paper, blocked out the details of even what exam it was, the name, all of that sort of stuff, and changed the logo over from the Board, BOARD, of Studies to the Board, BORED, of Studies logo in Paint. Thought I was really cool, thought I was really clever. Another one I did that was kind of cool was I took a photo of a Ford GT Boss race car and I changed the Boss, BOSS, to BOS, Board of Studies logo, the shortened version, and then put their logo on the hood and stuff like that. Thought I was really cool, even working with perspectives and stuff. Anyway, long story short, I posted these and it was part of the scavenger hunt and it was really cool and, there was nothing to it. Like we would all just say to each other, oh yeah, really cool. Somebody even asked me if the car one was photoshopped or real and I was like, yeah, go my skills. Until I get a phone call from the real BOARD of Studies. Mid-HSC trials, I think we were just between trials and real HSC or somewhere around there. I was going to be disqualified from receiving my HSC because I had obtained and posted a photo of a HSC exam paper online. Now, I freaked, I cried, the whole deal. But I also explained to them that it was one from the year before, the details were all blotted out, it wasn't, ones from the year before are generally available for students to look back on to help study anyway. And also, by the way, the logo at the top, the logo, it's not yours. Someone else's, spelt wrong and looks different font. They let me off with a warning, strong warning. Yeah, it scared me. 17-year-old me was definitely scared. But the point of that story today, the point of me including that story in this, is that we used to trust a photo and we didn't even look that closely at it before we trusted it. They trusted that photo enough as it was to look me up, find my number. I found out they got my number from the school, and actually contact me, and they were going to disqualify me from my HSC based on a photo that they didn't even look at closely enough to notice that their own logo had been changed. They just believed it at a glance. We used to trust a photo. We don't trust anything anymore. Not only would that have been noticed immediately, the change in logo, the 03 versus 04 would have been noticed immediately. Any slight changes in font or how it was scanned in or anything like that, we notice all of that now. We are trained to notice all of that now because we have to look at things in a critical eye because we are so used to now being duped. Things have changed. Trust came easier before online. So, what can you do? This human-led marketing stuff that I was talking about before I launched off into my rather amusing, well, I think so, story. Human-led content or human-led marketing. This is the stuff where, and this makes a lot of small business owners a little bit uncomfortable, it's where you have to show the human behind the business. Now, whether that is you or whether that is your team, employee-generated content is a thing now as well, but to build trust in the business, in the brand, in you, you have to actually connect with the audience. So that puts even more emphasis on that know and like stuff first. You can't just take someone out for a first date and expect to take them home that night anymore. You have to build it. And building it means talking head videos. It means being brave and asking your customers to put testimonials up on Google, on Facebook, not just email them to you so that you're posting them, because you know what? We don't trust that anymore either. It means, as the founder of the business, the owner of the business, one of the really, really wonderful ways that you as a human can help to build this trust in the business, even if you're not solo, even if you do have a team, even if you are larger and product-based, whatever it might be, is a founder's personal brand. Start to build up that personal brand. Tell the stories. It's all storytelling. We love stories. Humans love stories. It's what connects. It's what helps us relate to each other. And I'll say it again and again. Humans connect through stories. We always have. We always have. Look at any history. That's why we know our history, right? It's why it was recorded. We love telling stories. We love hearing stories. We love sharing stories. And that's how humans connect. But there's one sort of lens that I like to look through when it comes to human-led content, and that is this piece of content that I'm about to put out into the world. So look at all of your content with this lens. Could my computer generate this easily right now? If the answer is yes, you need to think a little bit more about it. Now, that doesn't mean drop the idea completely. Absolutely not. A lot of my posts, still, a computer could do it. But I make sure I mix it in with enough human content or human-led content that I'm mixing that trust building with the information giving. So your, 6-page carousel that you might have planned that is text only and, it's just 5 tips for whatever. Sure, go ahead and post it. But have a look at your grid, have a look at your feed, whatever platform you're on, and just make sure that not all of your content, or not even the majority of your content, could have been created by a computer. And you'll probably be surprised when you start looking at it through that lens just how much of your content is like that, because that's the stuff that lets us hide behind our logos and our websites and our pretty branding. Pretty Canva graphics. We love them. I love a pretty Canva graphic. I'm so sad I don't get to do as many anymore. But what connects humans to humans are our stories. It's the things that we can relate to. And relatability doesn't always just mean, people seem to have this thing at the moment where relatability seems to be about sharing fails. It's not about sharing fails. It's about sharing anything that could be relatable. It could be, I shop at Woolies, you shop at Woolies. Oh my God, how cool is that we shop at the same place? That's relatability. And that can only come if what you're putting out into the world is human-led. We're sharing experiences. We're sharing stories. When it comes to trust, if I go into the sciencey part just for a minute, not for long, I promise, the main 3 parts of building trust at the beginning, now it gets more complicated after this, but to start to build trust, we need ability or competence. That part for most of you is easy. Most of you are probably fairly happy to go and shout from the rooftops, I have the qualifications to do this. I have the experience to do this. I know my stuff. Even if you're not actually saying it, but you're just putting a pretty Canva graphic with a certification on it up there, or putting it in the footer of your emails or whatever, you're quite happy to shout those qualifications, those certifications, those awards from the rooftops, even if it's not you personally shouting it. That part, all right, we get. The next one is benevolence. And this one is a little trickier, because if you think about benevolence, is we are showing actual care and empathy and concern for others, giving and being generous. But the problem is, and this is why I'm hesitating on how I say this, the problem is that more recently, I'm talking past couple of years, there's been a fair bit of backlash against virtue signaling. So you really have to let your customers, those testimonials that you ask for, those verified ones, you have to let them talk for you for that one. You can't, it's not as well received for you to go out and go, look how much money I gave to charity this year. It's better if the charity acknowledges you. So that's better coming from external. But the last one, integrity. Integrity is the one that I want you to focus on the most. And integrity is really, if we strip it right back, it's the stuff we were taught as kids, right? It's the don't lie. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Tell the truth. Keep your promises. It's standing up for what's right. It's having ethics and morals and actually vocalizing them. That's the beginning of trust. And it's not just coming out and saying, these are our, these are the 5 things we stand for as a company. Show, not tell. Show how you actually act as a company. Show your company culture. Show what you believe in. Don't just tell us, because we don't believe you when you tell us. But it's not even just show anymore, but it's connect. It's community. When we hear your stories and your stories connect with us, and when your stories help to show that you walk the talk, whatever it is, and we start to see that through the thing that we love the most, the thing that we absorb the best, storytelling, then that's when we start to trust. That's when we start to trust. We don't trust you because you tell us to trust you. Sorry. We trust you after we've learnt who you are, who your business is, what you stand for. Not just because you've told us those things, but because we've seen it in action. We've heard about it in your stories. And we've heard you enough to go, yeah, you're a real human. I like you. You're not fake. You're not just reading a script someone else or ChatGPT gave you. You're all right. That's how you build trust today. And that's why know, like, and trust is still relevant today.